Hi guys. So we are now almost 2 weeks into January 2023. So this video, just right out of the gate here, I just want you to know this is going to be a different video. It is not going to be cooking, it's not going to be baking, it's not going to be any of those things. I am on a journey and I want to share it with you, and not because I want you to feel sorry for me. I don't want sympathy, I don't want any of that. What I know is that we've all been battered and bruised and broken, and I think we've survived trauma in these last few years. Whatever side of the fence you're on as far as politics, opinions, all those things, I think we've all been through the ringer. And so that alone would have been hard enough. But then there were a number of other things that took place in my life on top of that. And I can't even tell you how it's affected me. I don't even think I know the depths that it's affected me. But one day I was sitting, and I always, when I feel a lot of emotion, I really get an urge to write. So one day I was just sitting and contemplating. It was actually back in October. And I think, for so long I've basically been in survival mode and really didn't ponder. Actually, it isn't that I didn't ponder. I couldn't keep up with all the things that were happening, that I was feeling, that I was seeing, that I was thinking. It was overwhelming. But for whatever reason, this day I was processing, I guess, some of this stuff. And I put a post on Facebook, and I'm going to read it to you. It all kind of started with the pandemic, feeling life and light sucked out of me. I worked in a hospital throughout the initial traumatizing days of the pandemic. While the bigwigs of our organization stayed home on Zoom meetings, my coworkers and I showed up. Then in December of 2020, I lost my dad and my mom in August 2021. I took leave from work because losing her destroyed me, affecting me physically, mentally, and spiritually in ways that I had never anticipated. I couldn't think. The only emotion I felt was grief and despair, and I couldn't remember anything. I got in my car one day and couldn't remember how to start it, and I only had to push a button. In October 2021, while on leave, I fell and fractured my knee, and then about 6 or 8 weeks later, finally out of the Zimmer splint, I fell and hurt my shoulder. The doctor said that I hadn't torn my rotator cuff, it was just angry, and I thought, well, that makes two of us. On February 4th, 2022, I was cleared physically to go back to work and lost my job and my work family, who I love dearly, by the way, because I chose medical freedom over being injected with something I neither wanted or trusted. I've been through a lot of things in my lifetime. I'm 63, and we've raised 9 children, so that may even have added a few years of aging, but this past year has really kicked my butt. I came to Jesus at the age of 19 and spent 20 years trying to be what I thought a good Christian was supposed to be. Exhausted, spent, and having suicidal thoughts, I attended a Grace Life conference with no hope whatsoever that this would make any difference at all. But it was life-changing, even life-saving, until this year. This year, something died inside me. And I've struggled to find my way back. Once again, guilt, condemnation, and shame became my ever-present sidekicks. Wine became my go-to. I now vape, and I could make a trucker blush with my language. To be honest, I barely even cared. I retreated to isolation, the only part I enjoyed about this pandemic, and I isolated myself from God. I knew I didn't have what it took to be who I thought I needed to be to come back, and somehow that once again became my mindset. Long story, I know, and I apologize. The scriptures that once brought me life became stale, old, condemning, and just sounded like blah, blah, blah. In my head, praying was hollow, empty, and dead. I had better conversations with my dog. I went through the motions of each day and probably looked fine to everyone else, but inside I was crumbling. 2 days ago, I sat on my bed and closed my eyes and just began to focus on my breath, trying to quiet my ever-whirling mind, and a scripture popped into my head. If any man will open the door, I will come in. I had always considered that a salvation scripture. But that day, in my mind, I could see Jesus on the other side of my door, knocking. In my mind, I did what I typically do in real life when someone's coming to visit. I ran around like a madwoman trying to clean everything up and make everything presentable, which is my reality these days as we're listing our house for sale. Do you hear the groans? But which I also my reality, no matter how hard I cleaned, there was always that one speck of dust or dirt that had fallen on the freshly cleaned floor. I couldn't open the door until everything was spotless. It was exhausting. It was overwhelming. It was futile. Then I saw my house a mess, an absolute disaster. Stuff was piled everywhere. Dishes, clothes, pillows, blankets, garbage, everything strewn all over the place. He was still there knocking. He said, all you have to do is open the door. He still wanted to come in. So I let him in, right into the mess, all the mess, the wine, the vaping, the swearing, and we sat on the couch together in the middle of all this mess, and I poured out my heart. He didn't care about the mess. He just wanted to be with me. I cried and I talked to him about everything. It wasn't eloquent or pious. It was raw. It was ugly, and it was real. He didn't leave. He didn't recoil in shock or horror. He held me, listened to me, and he loved me in my mess. So I am once again aware of his presence even in my mess. I'm no longer scurrying around trying to tidy everything up or shoving things in the closet so they won't be seen. I don't know what this is going to look like down the road. I know there's no going back, only forward. My life has changed in so many ways, and it won't ever look like it did. My loved ones are gone. My job is gone. My house and home will be gone. And I don't ever see myself becoming part of a church again. I don't even know what my walk with Jesus is going to look like. Only a few things that it won't. I imagine that one by one we may tackle this mess. Pick up the broken pieces, put a few things away, maybe even leave a few things lying around just for humility's sake. And probably pitch a lot of crap, but we will do it together. Jesus isn't bewitched. We aren't just going to wiggle our nose and everything is going to be fixed. We're going to sort and sift, figuring out what to keep and what to get rid of. And we're going to talk, laugh, cry, and maybe even have a glass of wine or two while we do it. So that has sort of been the opening door to at least starting a dialogue again. I understand not everybody, has a faith in Jesus or God or whatever. And I hope this doesn't turn you off because I'm not preaching to you. I'm not trying to convert you. I'm just sharing my journey, hoping that some of it, all of it, may help you if you're struggling. I'm 43 years a Christian. And I never thought I'd see the day that I would be in this state. And I won't pretend anymore. And I don't pretend when he and I are having these conversations. I said some things to him that a lot of the Christians I know would be horrified that I would speak that way to God. But I have to tell you that I don't have the energy to be phony or pious or religious. I need the real deal. And if he can accept me at my worst and we can still maintain relationship and grow in that relationship, then I know I'm okay and we'll make it. And I haven't ruined everything. I actually feel that he doesn't mind these conversations. He encourages these conversations because the only way we're going to get to a deep and honest relationship with him is if we sift and sort and deal with all these things, not just throw it in the closet and shut the door, pretend it's not there. This mess cannot be ignored. This mess is real. Right or wrong, good or bad, you can label it any way you want, but it is real. And I won't pretend that it's not there. I won't pretend that I don't do these things. I'm not going to put on my Christian mask and act like I'm good. We're good. God's good. Everything's fine. No, everything is not fine. Nor does it have to be. In fact, it's in our weakness, he says, that he is made strong. He doesn't want puppets following him. And we're wrestling through some of these things. So I have a lot of thoughts going on right now, and I'm not going to dump them all on here today. I'm sure they'll end up here at some point, but not today. I've had a lot of things swirling around in my mind and in my heart, and I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what it's going to look like, and I don't know how long it'll take. It's going to be an ongoing journey. I'm on a journey, and I just feel that my only job is to keep that door open and not to run back to having to get everything perfect and having to get everything right and having to have everything spotless before I can present myself to him, before I can let him in through my door, because that has never worked for me. Never worked for me. And I can bet it doesn't either for you, because that's not changing me. That's not healing me. That's just stuffing things down below the surface, pretending they're not there, maybe not even being aware they're still there. I've had a few things come up that I thought, oh, so that's what that's been causing. And I'll share some of that again in another video. But 2023, I can't control the circumstances. And I don't even know what to expect or to pray for. I guess for me, 2023, I will put effort into these conversations and being open and honest and transparent and authentic and all the things, whether it sounds horrible or acceptable. I don't care. I'm going to say what I feel and think, because that's the only way. It's only as I bring it out and expose it, we can decide what we're going to do with it. I don't want this clutter. I don't want clutter in my life at all. I deleted all my emails the other day. I had, I don't know, over 1,000, 2,000 maybe, emails in my inbox. They flow in every day. Like, I don't even know how I get on all these things. And I, went through and unsubscribed. And finally the other day, I just thought, forget it. Like, this is gone. I'm starting from scratch and staying on top of it, because I need to do what's best for me. and my mental health and my emotional health and my spiritual health. And that is what my goal is for this year. And I don't even want to say goal because I hate my focus. And I don't expect to arrive at any finish line. I will never be finished. I just want to be better tomorrow than I am today. With all the question marks and being sidelined like I've been through no desire of my own, I honestly feel that I think he just wants to sit me down on that couch and spend time with me. Today's enough. Today's enough. And I will try to be attuned to his leading and take those steps as he makes them aware to me. But I'm not going to stress over the things I have no control over. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope it doesn't bore you. I hope it doesn't offend you or put you off. But I'm going to be real with you too. So my journey does include a spiritual faith element. And I will be honest about that. I won't try and drown you with it. And I have no ulterior motives. I'm not trying to convince you, convert you, or anything like that. I'm just sharing with you my journey, whether it's in the kitchen, in the garden, or these kind of more emotional and spiritual issues. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm just saying, I think we go through life in survival mode and we don't pay attention and are not aware of the things that are happening inside us versus around us. And I've heard, different phrases along the way that really speak to me. And one was that the tyranny of the urgent is the enemy of what's important. So I think we need to define in our own lives what's important. And it's been a rough go for all of us, I know. So we need to debrief or recover, or I don't even know, so many things. And if you're new to my channel, this isn't going to be like this all the time, I promise. I'm just a normal person. I'm just a wife, a mom of 9 kids. I've been through so much in our lifetime. I couldn't even tell you, and if I did, you probably wouldn't believe me. But you can't be married for 37 years and have 9 kids and not have some challenges. I could guarantee that. And some of these were very painful, very painful. And yet, through all those years, I never had any of them affect me to the degree that, especially my mom's death, that was kind of the tipping point. And she was 94. I can't complain. She had a great life. She was spry and mobile and alert and no dementia. And she got sick, and within a week, she was gone. And I wouldn't wish her back, to be honest. She had a good life, and I'm thankful for that. And I knew at her funeral, I gave the eulogy, and the very first line was, "This is the day I've dreaded my whole life." And I have. Growing up, I always knew someday I was going to lose her. And it was going to be hard, and yet she made it to 94, and, can't ask for much better than that. So I knew I was going to grieve. I had no idea how it would affect me in so many ways. I have trouble word finding now. I'm changed. I'm changed. When I got in my car that day and I couldn't remember how to start it, this is scary shit. And I've never been that person. Never been that person. Anyway, so this is my journey back to health. And actually, I call it rising from the ashes. Because I still have a lot to be thankful for. But you can be thankful and broken at the same time. So we're just going to work on just becoming more whole and healthy in all areas. And when I see people being vulnerable and honest and transparent, it encourages me. And we hold so much in because we're afraid of what other people think or say. And especially now, you're almost afraid to open your mouth about some things. We're never going to be who we were meant to be if that's how we go through life. We are never going to be who we were meant to be if that's how we go through life. It won't happen. It takes vulnerability and relationship, and not just with my immediate people. We need to hear other people's stories, because you can get so lost in your own head, in your own circumstance, in your own story, that you're drowned. You drowned because there's no hope there. There's nothing. But when you hear about something someone else has been through, it touches your heart. And if they've come out the other side, it gives you hope and encouragement, or just the encouragement that you're not the only one going through things. So please comment down below. People, remark on my videos on Facebook, but I really want people to comment below the video. Facebook just rolls on by, and you don't get to, you have to search for weeks to find a post that you wanted to read again, or comment that somebody made. But I'm going to cut it short. I could go on forever, and there's going to be more things. Like I said, I won't bombard you with this kind of stuff, but I just feel it doesn't hurt every now and then to catch up on where things are at, how things really are, and go forward. There's too much life left for me to just survive. I want to live again.